Hello and welcome to another episode of Wedflics. I'm your host, Julia Braime. I'm the founder and editor of Brides Up North, the top UK wedding blog for northern couples, and the editor of glossy bridal magazine, Unveiled. Today on the show, I meet with the incredible Shoe-Llery designer, Freya of Freya Rose, London. I mean, her designs just speak for themselves, beautiful inlaid mother of pearl detailing, the finest workmanship, and they're the bridal shoes that every fashionista is going to be wanting to rock on their big day. Let's meet her. Hi Freya, welcome to the Wedflics show. How are you today?
I'm very well, thanks Julia. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us. So everybody, this is Freya of her label Freya Rose. Freya designs the most beautiful bridal shoes, fashion shoes, jewellery and handbags, and I'm a big fan of her work. Freya, do you want to introduce yourself and your business, Freya Rose London?
Yeah, sure. So I've been designing shoes for about 20 years and I founded my own label back in 2010 and have since evolved the collections and what we offer over the past 10 years. The concept of or my design philosophy was to incorporate my jewellery knowledge. So we're very much renowned for our jewelled features, from our sort of signature mother of pearl heels to our intricately embellished shoes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been an incredible journey the past 10 years.
I bet. Where did that jewellery knowledge come from then? What's that background?
So I grew up in the jewellery industry. My mum is a jewellery designer, and she had her own shop where everything was designed and made beneath where we lived. So I was just surrounded by jewellery and sort of grew up with this sort of passion, if you like, by watching her and the people that made the jewellery. The sort of passion for the craftsmanship and the quality of the stones and the materials used in executing these pieces. And she's an amazing sort of artist in herself as well. She's the only British woman to ever won the De Beers Award 4 times. So she's
Wow.
she was just incredible to watch on all different sort of levels, from designing, drawing, painting, to watching these, to going to London with her to pick the jewels. I remember going up on the train with her as a little girl, going to Hatton Garden and choosing all these stones, and just listening to those conversations about how to choose for colour and clarity, and then all the way through to the process of them being made at the back of the shop by a small team of goldsmiths.
Wow.
Which operates today.
So you were literally just immersed in that world.
Yes.
And it became a part of you, I guess.
Yeah, it was just a part of my childhood. It was just, it was being surrounded by not only the jewellery, but the whole process and the artistry and the passion behind it as well. So,
do you know what's funny? So I grew up immersed in a world like you. So I grew up immersed. I grew up in a hotel, but it was very much like a big weddings hotel. So every Saturday, my mum would be running weddings, and it would just be a part of our lives. And it almost becomes intrinsic to your knowledge base, doesn't it? It's sort of, you grow up with it, and people say, "Well, how do you know that?" And you're like, "Well, I just do. I just kind of picked it up as you went along." It's the way, and there's nothing like sort of being on the shop floor, as it were, to know how an industry works.
You don't realise that part of your childhood is an education that people go, to learn many years. You just sort of, it's like learning a language, being immersed in it in an industry. You're sort of, you don't realise that how much you're learning from that.
And then what about shoes then? How did you start to design shoes?
I went to art college to find my own path. It wasn't like I didn't really want to go in the same direction as my mum. I saw her as her own entity. So I wanted to find my own field. So I went to art college, and it was there that I really enjoyed the sculpture. And it wasn't until I was really looking through the prospectus for the London College of Fashion and saw a course in shoes and accessories that it was just like a light bulb moment. And I just thought, my goodness, this is sculpture and fashion and styles all in one. And then I really, it wasn't until when I got into the course, and I didn't know what area I was going to specialise in, because it did millinery and bags as well. And I just fell in love with shoes. I just thought they were They were magical, and I understood why there are so many stories around shoes now. You know, it's like when you're making them, you're sort of, I don't know, there's some weird connection with shoes that just is magical, I find anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoes are definitely like my fashion item of choice. Like, you know, if somebody likes handbags or dresses or shoes, I am a shoe girl through and through, just obsessed. I have a ridiculous amount of them. And even in lockdown, I've been like building my collection. But can't wait to wear them all again, apart from my slippers. London College of Fashion is also, did you go to the site that's kind of on Oxford Street or just off?
No, so that was the main site, but what had happened when I joined, they had merged with Cordwainers, which was the traditional shoemaking college. So the site was off in Barbican.
Oh, right, okay.
That's where the sort of shoe and accessory department was located.
Yeah, you're really immersed in it though, aren't you, with that institution? It's very arty and very creative, and I can see why your shoes are so fabulous. So did you then go and work for someone for a while and then
so, whilst I was at university, I worked everywhere. I worked as hard as I could, getting sort of internships from everywhere from Harvey Nichols to there was a place that made theatrical shoes,
okay.
Jones and their factory in Northampton. So I did a bit of menswear. Yeah, so I sort of got a lot of experience while I was at university. And then when I graduated, I was offered a job straight away by a supplier that worked for the Arcadia Group. So I was designing shoes for places like Topshop and June. And then I went on to work for a couple of designers like Gina, Tabitha Simmons, freelancing. And yeah, in 2007, I started a research, setting up my own brand, and left my current job and went traveling looking for sort of artists that would be able to make the jeweled parts of the shoes. And that's how it started.
I love the way that you managed to get a holiday in there while setting up your own business.
Absolutely. Sort of, it was part sort of that sort of gap. I never had a gap year, you know, like a lot of students did, and I could never afford it. But yeah, I saved really hard and was like, right, this is my plan. I want to go traveling and I want to set up my own brand. I was very naive, to tell you the truth. And I actually got a loan from the Prince's Trust when I got back to start the actual business. But yeah, the way I started the business was full of flaws, and it took me many years to sort of overcome those. I had no business acumen at all, and I sort of had to learn along the way. But yeah, it's organically grown to what it is now, and yeah, I guess that's part of you know, there's so many more resources now, I think, for people who want to start their own business.
There really are. Like just everything, you know, the way we're communicating now via Zoom, all the information that's out there at a click of a button, everything that's available as well to market and promote your business. Like times have changed really drastically from even 10 years ago. But you know what, that learning process is so important, because when you're there sort of at the what's the word, like when you're at the forefront of everything, you learn so much. You learn from your mistakes. And yeah, maybe your success would have come along quicker had you been told X, Y, Z and your hand had been held. But actually, I think you grow as a person and as a label by doing these things yourself. And who knows, things might not have worked out in the same way if you hadn't had to put that work in. So how can you describe your signature style then to someone who'd never seen one of your shoes before?
Okay, so I would say that our signature look for our classic designs are sort of, they're timeless pieces, but modern, that will always have something unique about them, whether it's an embellishment or the mother of pearl heel. They are, what I would call them shoes to treasure forever, because they're sort of something that you could admire for a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. They are like art pieces, all pieces of jewellery really, as well as being shoes. I think you've got it in one there, but the mother of pearl heel, I think, has become quite iconic for your brand. And it's certainly why I first discovered your shoes. I remember seeing them for the first time ever at White Gallery in London, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a big bridal trade exhibition. And I was on Freya's stand. I don't think I met you. I think I met one of your girls on the stand, and just admiring these incredible boots, actually, I think it was, with the chunky heel inlaid with the mother of pearl. I think it's the first time I'd actually seen a bridal boot other than something a bit more alternative. So it was more like a wearable luxury bridal boot that was comparable to like the Ginas of its time, to the Jimmy Choos. And I just fell in love with your brand straight away. Why were you keen to kind of step into the bridal market and bring something new to that market?
Oh gosh, that's an interesting question. So when I first launched my first collection, it wasn't linked to be bridal, but there were a few pieces that were in these sort of blush ivory colours, and had this very like sort of ethereal look, if you like. And I first started using a little factory in East London where they handmade all the shoes for Vivienne Westwood at the time. So it was very much a small bespoke factory. And the girl who worked there said to me, "Oh, you should do the designer wedding show. It's a great show for this. You know, these shoes could fit into the wedding sort of market." And I literally called the designer wedding show and said, you know, obviously, you know, next week it starts, so it's obviously going to be full, but can I apply for next time? They're like, actually, we do have a space.
Funny that. Like we always, us exhibition organisers always have a space. Shouldn't say that, but we always do.
The day, actually, I think the designer wedding show was a really difficult show to get into because they were the sort of main sources for getting in front of the clients, in front of press, in front of the media. So it was, you know, and they had some brilliant labels at the time. There was Vivienne Westwood, Alice Temple. It was a really brilliant show. It was sad to see it go, but yeah, it was just that moment that all of a sudden I was like, I just do it, and I went for it. And from then on, I had just a ton of press that had been sort of something I'd really struggled to get in front of, and yeah, clients. It was I started to have people, you know, ask for appointments, and that was it. That was the beginning of the journey. I realised that there was a niche in the bridal market.
Absolutely.
There was some really beautiful shoes, and yeah, it sort of I started to learn about the brides and why they were frustrated, why they, you know, what they were looking for, and yeah. But now I think now there's a lot more on offer.
There is, but it's still not. It's still not a saturated market, I don't think, which is great for you, obviously. But, you know, you are one of the leaders in the independent shoe designers and crafters in the industry, but there's still only a few of you that I would recommend to friends. I think before you guys came along, really you would, you know, a bride kind of had two choices. Either you would get your shoes from kind of a big name factory label in the bridal shop that was stocked by the bridal shop, and we know who we're talking about, could be dyed into 1,000 colors, or you would, and as you know, as great as that was, they were pretty uninspiring if you love shoes. Or you could buy a non-bridal shoe, so like your Jimmy Choos, your Louboutins, Gina.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything kind of high end and luxury within the bridal setting.
Yeah.
But, you know, then now the options are just much better, but still not expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the thing is with bridal, with the shoes, what we find, especially for our brides, is they have such an ornate dress, or not an ornate, that's the wrong word. They have a gorgeous dress, and they don't want anything to sort of overpower that dress. They want something that will go in line with the dress and complement the dress, and have something really beautiful and unique that they love about it without it sort of coordinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what is, and it's always a struggle to design something that has the perfect contours, the perfect color tones, the perfect sort of modern style, but having something unique about it that will stand out from the crowd, that will ultimately a bride will fall in love with.
Where do you start on the design process then? Where do you get your inspiration from?
All different, really. I think life is just a source of inspiration. I'm constantly being inspired. I'm particularly drawn, I think, to sort of the Orient and Far East, and especially sort of Japanese ancient sort of art pieces. But yeah, I am sort of more drawn. I often look at my designs and see, okay, that has, you know, been influenced a lot by that sort of exposure, and also flowers. I go to a local rose garden ever since I was a child to just sort of zone out. And when I zone out, I often find I get flooded with inspiration. So I often find that a lot of my designs are rose influenced, whether it's, you know, the sort of Japanese sort of or Art Deco sort of look, there'll be an element of floral flower within that, which is evident obviously in my designs, especially the new collection that's coming out soon, which is very much based on roses and different techniques from the Orient. So yeah, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but
no, absolutely not. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, so I can, that's really evident to me as someone who admires your designs. And I think as well, the jewellery style with the mosaic mother of pearl, it really fits in with that type of design style too. I think it would be hard not to have that Art Deco or Oriental influence, because that jewellery style just kind of, it embodies that, doesn't it?
yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you see that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because your shoes are so full of detail, like you say, but also they're not OTT. So like I think of them as, I like pared back luxury.
Yeah.
And whilst, like I say, they have all the inlays and the metals, and they're very kind of understated in a classy way as well. Fashion forward, but classy and understated. It's a hard balance to get right, but I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I think like our signature pieces have a very classic mother of pearl, but our capsule collections are the pieces that are really sort of push the boundaries with the jewelers that make the heels, and yeah, they're a lot more innate and a lot more sort of thought out, in terms of how, you know, they take quite a long time to produce. But yeah, I mean, I just talking about inspiration. The last collection, the capsule collection that we did, was very much inspired by a piece of jewellery, and I've actually got it here.
Oh yes,
it's a ring that was given to me. I don't know if you can see, but it's
oh
got
wow,
a big opal with a little diamond there, and then you can see around the edges there's mother of pearl inlay on the gold, and that really, this ring sort of makes me think of ancient sort of Egyptian sort of pieces that, you know, were worn by Cleopatra. These very statement, powerful pieces with colour and boldness, and that was what inspired my latest collection. And there's the One Style Cleopatra, which is very evident in that with the inspiration that came from the ring. But I wanted to create a very small collection of shoes that would give the same feeling as the ring did, like powerful, statement, ornate, rich, luxurious heels, basically.
Oh, I can't wait to see the new collection. Have we got any imagery out there of the new collection yet?
That was our last capsule collection, and the style's called Cleopatra, and it's part of the capsule collection. We sell out quite quickly of that collection. I think we've got a few pairs left in the black style, but we only make 20 pairs per style, so literally as soon as they launch, they do sell out quite quickly, and they're never to be repeated. So we drop in 1 or 2 collections a year, and it's always, you know, we can never time exactly when they're going to be produced because of how complex it is. So it's like literally a drop in. We email the people that register on the page on that site, and they're the first people to know, and yeah, they literally go quite quickly.
Yeah, that's a really nice way to do it as well, because I love that the end buyer will know that they are buying a piece that not everyone's going to have. You know, it does make it very exclusive and special.
Investment piece. You know that there's literally, you know, the work involved in that shoe is unlike any other shoe that you will ever find on the market. It's a piece of jewellery, a marriage of shoes and jewellery, as we say, and you're one of only 20 people that will ever own a pair of those shoes.
Do you keep a pair for yourself of like every?
I try to. I try to, yes. Not every single pair, but I do try to keep the ones that I particularly love. Yeah.
So which is your favorite shoe then currently? This is a hard question, I know.
It would be the Cleopatra. I think, I mean, in terms of, I wear my jasmine boots, the ones that you like, which are the white boots, all the time.
Mm.
And I've just invested in a new style that's coming through that will replace that, because I've just worn them today. And there's the midi June boot as well that I have, which I love. But yeah, in terms of what I actually, the Cleopatras are just beautiful, but they're still in my cupboard waiting to be worn for a special occasion.
So that's your current favorite from your capsule collection. What about bridal? What's your favorite bridal shoe that you do?
Well, I think it would probably be the 3 pairs that I designed for my wedding, which is Glory, Freya, and Rose and Bloom. Now they're currently on the website as made to order only because they're so complex to make. But we are working on simplifying the design for our next capsule collection. So there will be 20 pairs of each made. But yeah, those 3. I had to have 3 pairs, obviously.
Yeah, I love that. I was just about to pick up on that and say, okay, which parts of the day did you wear those shoes for?
Yeah, exactly. So the Freyas were worn for, obviously named after myself, were worn for the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really high. They're comfortable because you've got a big platform, but not for all day. So I designed those particularly to go with the wedding dress. And then I designed a pair of silver shoes called Glory, which were so comfortable that I could just wear literally after dinner for the rest of the evening. And then I had a pair called Rose and Bloom,
Mm-hmm.
and was super high, that I had for the photos with the set. So they're much more sort of gold that went with the Amanda Webley. So they were a bit indulgent, wasn't it?
I love this. I'm just like, no, this is my ideal sort of chat. I'm literally just like, yeah, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more about the fashion, tell me more about the shoes.
As a shoe designer, I'm allowed, I think, to have 3.
Of course.
It is pretty indulgent.
To be honest, I would almost find it insulting had you not created 3 pairs of shoes for your own wedding day. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I would be doing exactly the same as you. I'd be taking my favorites from every collection, wearing them to death, probably getting 2 pairs of them, to be honest, just to make sure. So there's a pair I can wear and a pair I can save. I do this with my magazine. I keep copies of it just, for the back catalogue, just to flick through. And definitely for your wedding day. I mean, surely there's lots of other occasions in life where you can be creating your own heels.
Exactly. Well, I was about to say, actually, with those 3 pairs, I did design them in mind that I would wear them all again.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think your shoes are very rewearable. They're very, very special and precious pieces. And I mean, one line of thought thinks, okay, maybe you could wear them for your wedding day. It's talking specifically about bridal here. You could wear them for your wedding day and then maybe have them framed or do something beautiful with them to make them kind of an art piece.
Yeah, actually, we were about to do a blog post on wearable works of art because we've had so many people send us pictures of their shoes, their wedding shoes, that they've now put on like a shelf in their bedroom as like a centerpiece piece of art, and they look so beautiful, especially when you've got the heels showing. They just almost like little jewel pieces sitting on the shelf. So
yeah, I love that. I know that some companies do sort of deep frames that you could have a pair of shoes framed in, or you could put them into like a cloche, like a glass cloche. My wedding shoes were Gina, and I had the problem that I had a kind of it sounds horrible, but it wasn't. It was obviously it was my wedding dress. It was a very, 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 very pale blush pink. But you're talking like nobody noticed. Only I really knew it was blush pink. It was a Duchess satin. And just a little warmer than ivory. So, but it was blush pink. And therefore, all the kind of shoes that were available, even like your Louboutins and things, didn't go because of that sort of slightly different color. So I couldn't go for anything ivory, couldn't go for white. So I went for sort of some bejeweled, dazzled Ginas. But unfortunately, I then wore them throughout my honeymoon because we went to New York, Vegas, and LA. So it was cool, but it's very appropriate for the shoes, and they are absolutely trashed. But I have them sort of just like a sort of a flobbing pile of diamante in my dressing room on the side. but they're just really kind of dead now. I wore them to death because I'm very heavy on my feet.
I think that's the beautiful thing about shoes, is that for your wedding day, it's so important to have shoes that you absolutely love, because you will pull them out for the rest of your life. And just as you said, even if you just hold them and think, oh, I wore those on my wedding day, they're like, it's different. It's not like you can pull out your dress and give them a hug. It's like you're looking at a piece that held you your whole day, a beautiful 3D object that was a component of your attire. And yeah, they're just something that you can keep forever, and they're like a historical moment, part of a historical moment of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so important to value those memories, and things do become attached to memories, and keep them safe, keep them precious, but wear them again if you can too. I mean, I don't want to discourage anyone from wearing their shoes again, because it is nice to sort of think, oh, okay, these are my wedding heels, and I'm taking them for another stroll or another dance or whatever.
Walk with the dog.
Yeah, maybe not walk the dog. You can do some wellies next, Freya.
Occasions, keep them for your special occasions and to treasure.
Yeah, maybe with the lockdown and COVID and everything, you'll have to start to bejewel slippers and wellies and trainers next. That'll be.
Hopefully, it's not going to last too much longer.
I don't think so. I think we're on the way out now. I think people need to be starting thinking about shopping for bridal shoes quite seriously, actually. So
the anti slippers and all about. I think people who haven't worn heels for a long time are going to be wanting to put heels on.
I completely agree with you. I think everything we associate with lockdown is going to become sort of repellent to us. So those Zoom calls are very useful, for example, for business. People are going to want to meet in person. We're going to want to go to events. We're going to want to leave the house. Yeah, I can't wait for party season to start off. Wedding season, the races. Your shoes are perfect for going to the races and soirees. I'll be wearing a pair. Tell us about your jewellery then and your handbags.
Okay, so the jewellery we launched earlier this year. I'd been sort of doing a few pieces of jewellery to sort of test the waters, if you like, because it just felt the right sort of addition to the brand. We use jewellers to make the heels. I love jewellery. I understand jewellery, and I particularly love earrings. I just feel they frame the face, and I found that this sort of demi-fine jewellery market, although it's fairly saturated, there's a sort of lack of interesting pieces that were still quite feminine and easy and light to wear.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought that it was a sort of perfect complement to what we're already doing. And yeah, it's gone down really well. There's sort of pieces of range from around £45 to £300, but there's some really wearable day to night pieces, some little hoops that have detachable pearls to sort of long chain mail with seed pearls and blended with little pieces of mother of pearl. So it's quite a sort of a range of jewellery that is sort of day to night and would probably appeal to a lot of people, not just brides.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely something. I think it's quite nice that brides can continue to shop from you if they found you via their bridal journey. So either from your capsule collections, your ready to wear heels. I say ready to wear, but it's not really ready to wear what you do, is it? It's more kind of the capsule drops.
Yeah, we call it ready to wear, but they're more like, it's couture shoes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I feel like saying ready to wear is a little bit of a mismatch for what you do. But yeah, they can still kind of like fuel the habit by coming to you for their other shoes. And the jewellery is just the perfect add-on. I've been actually stalking your jewellery collections a little bit, and I think I need to invest when we're out of lockdown. I think there's at the price level that you pitch your jewellery, there are other companies, but I've found those companies, like you say, like their earrings are quite statement, but not so wearable. And they maybe go for kind of like the fashion line rather than. I like something a little bit more elegant, and I think that's why I like your designs, because they're still beautiful and noticeable, and people will comment on them, but they're not really heavy and not like they're not wearing you, essentially, are they?
They're going to be a statement piece that complement you and your face and your shape without sort of being overpowering. And yeah, they're just a little bit different, I think, to what the other big brands are offering.
Yeah. Do you do handbags?
Interesting question, because we had a couple of bags. The Kate bag that was famously worn by Kate Moss on numerous occasions, and that's been a classic staple piece that sort of match our sort of ready to wear pieces, because it comes in just a black colour. But we are, I've been looking for a long time for a craft, somebody to hand make mother of pearl bags, and I think I found someone. So in the pipeline, we are very excited to be able to introduce some more mother of pearl bags to match the shoes, which will give the bags a bit more of its a Freya Rose identity.
And you know what? If you've got the shoes, you've got to have the bag too.
I hope so.
I mean, it's just a savvy business move, Freya, as well as being great for your brides and your couture customers as well. If I were on my wedding day, if I get the shoes, I would be getting the bag too, 100%. And the bag, you know, it's just another piece of art to display. So it's a no-brainer for me, for sure. So what's been your proudest moment then?
I think my journey, professional journey, has been full of sort of ups and downs, and the ups, or proudest moments, if you like, there's been so many. I think from that moment of creating my first collection, to selling my first pair of shoes, to seeing a celebrity like Kate Moss wearing the shoes, to buying my first flagship store. There's been so many, and that's what's brilliant about having your own business and persevering through the bad times, because you always have these amazing moments that are so rewarding. But I mean, I'm genuinely getting excited seeing anyone wearing my shoes, like
definitely. Do you know what though? If you were going to sort of cherry pick a celebrity to wear your shoes, I mean, Kate Moss is pretty much the number one.
That she is my all-time favourite icon, style icon. So I was thrilled, absolutely thrilled, when she wore the bag on probably, I think, about 10 occasions, from really glamorous parties in New York to sort of in Hampstead, having a walk with her partner. She wore and wore that bag over and over again. So
fabulous.
I feel like she, I just love her.
Well, she probably loves you as well, to be quite honest. How exciting. But I know what you mean about anyone wearing your shoes, because it is that thing that, you like it when someone well-known picks up your product and talks about it or shows it off or enjoys it. But it's just as important to be keeping every customer happy. And
I never take anything for granted, and every time I get a compliment, or somebody writes a lovely review about the shoes, that to me is why I do what I do.
Yeah. So what's next for Freya Rose, and apart from that line of handbags, what's next on the shoe front?
So the next collection, I'm always working on, the capsule collection is the innovative, creative part of the shoe designing. So that's what I'm working on at the moment, and just really we're working on increasing our sort of expanding our reach to within the US. So we're doing more sort of business operations, if you like, within the UK and the US, to try and expand our presence in that territory.
Wow, very exciting. You have to have a few trips over there once we can travel again. That'll be nice.
Yeah, and I'm desperate to get back to Bali as well. It's so frustrating designing new pieces without actually sort of being there and going through the sort of the design techniques.
Yeah, always ready for the next holiday. I'm the same with the magazine. I'm really missing all my destination shoots. And
where do you plan to go to next? Have you got somewhere on your radar? Or
I don't know really. We generally do quite a lot in Europe, so like Italy. But I'd quite like to go to Portugal to shoot there, sort of
Yeah.
Lisbon and surrounding areas. I kind of put it all aside when I realised I couldn't do it, if you know what I mean. So I've kind of parked it. But I mean, the world's your oyster, isn't it? You can go anywhere. We've shot all over the place. We've shot in Iceland, was great, and
Your shoots are always absolutely on point and gorgeous as well.
thank you. I can't wait to get back to it. We're looking at print for the end of the year for autumn now, so we'll be back. And
Exciting! I can't wait to pick up a magazine again.
I know. Well, I've got some here, so this is our latest, our last copy, nice and big and thick. But that was from last year, from 2020. So I think we're ready for a 2021 issue. But we wanted it to be right. We do all our shoots ourselves in house, and we didn't want to compromise on that quality by putting something out that we had to sort of cobble together during lockdown. And I don't like to have to make decisions based on scarcity. I like to have all the options available and then pick the best one for the end product. So yeah, I think just waiting until the time's right. And it's nice because you get the chance to review. So you get to, instead of always being on the hamster wheel of, creating. If you have a break, you get a time to kind of sit and think about how you want things to be when you come out the other side, and make some business choices and design choices and paper choices even.
I could sit and talk to you all day, Julia.
Well, we should have like an away day at some point. In Bali, actually. I'll come and shoot in Bali. Very happy. Very happy to travel. So how can people who are watching this or listening to this, how can they go and have a look at your shoes? I mean, it's fine for them to be watching us, but if they want to see your actual product, where's the best place?
Online on our website, freyaRose.com, Instagram. We try and update with the new products and things going on via our social channels, which is Instagram Freya Rose London, and I think they're probably the Pinterest. We have we're constantly putting new content on Pinterest. So it's a great source actually, because what a lot of people ask is could you send us a picture of a certain style being worn on a bride, or just to get a bit more of a feel of it. So we set up on our Pinterest now boards per style, so people can see all the different images of the brides or that we've used in shoots, to get more of a feel for the product.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really good idea. It's a good resource for your customers to see what matches with what, and maybe also to help them to think outside the box a little bit about, well, I've got this particular sort of dress, so I need to stick resolutely to that sort of shoe, and it's definitely not the case.
It's really helpful to be able to see certain style that you made. Oh gosh, I'm not sure if that would work. And have a look and get inspired by lots of other people that have worn that style.
Yeah, and also just to become obsessed, which is what I do if I'm looking at something and there's plenty of pictures of it. It's just a kind of sweet shop, isn't it? You can just look for hours at your Cleopatra heel. Freya's just there on her own looking at her Cleopatra heel on Pinterest, enjoying it. But it is true, if you're really indulging in a luxury product and it's a special purchase, it is fun to have all that extra kind of hype around it, and to be able to check it out online and gaze at it while you're at work and that sort of thing. It's
get inspired.
Yeah, it's all part of the bridal process to just really get excited about every single part of the day. So
absolutely,
I love that. Well, Freya, you've been such an amazing guest. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Julia.
No problem. I can't wait to get my hands on some of your shoes for one of our bridal shoots for the comeback issue of Unveiled magazine. I'll be on the phone and asking for some
help.
Thank you. But yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Julia. Bye.